medical wing. Warp down to logistics. Nope, I think we're getting it. Nope, we get a loading time either way. The medical wing. We've been there before, right? No, respawning enemies. Wasn't there a guy over here? Where'd he go? Did I imagine him? I don't know. Respawning enemies are a bummer. I feel like they shouldn't exist. They don't add anything because it's just repeating a fight I've already done before. And the game has generic enough enemies for a lot of its duration that repeating the same fights is already happening in the story. So having it happen when you're just trying to traverse the environment is just kind of a bummer. And like, I find the environment confusing enough of a challenge to navigate on its own without the same enemies popping up over and over and over again along the way to distract me. It reminds me of playing Pokemon and being in like Mount Moon and stuff, and then you get distracted by a random encounter that interrupts you and takes you out of the flow of navigating the environment that is a very repetitive and samey looking environment. And then I would find myself walking right back out the front door of Mount Moon. Like I'd be trying to... medical wings down. Oh. I would be trying to just get through Mount Moon, and I'd get turned around by all the enemies encounters taking me out of my navigation process. And then I'd end up walking right back out the front door again and be like, oh shit, I got turned around. No! Oh. I believe I've been here before. Okay, nope, that hurt. Thought they were gonna go down faster than that. It's because of you. No, throw it at it. Throw it at... God damn it. Why won't it work? Become mine. But I guess this is where me and AAA game design just don't get along very well. So I find the combat design really boring in most AAA games. So it's like, oh, we're gonna fight some gun guys. They're gonna shoot at me. I'll use my 2 powers, or I'll shoot them. And like, it's not the most, much like God of War, like I don't find it to be that mechanically interesting. I just kind of find it to be a fun spectacle. And so it's best utilized when it's in service of me exploring a new location, or experiencing a new story beat, or a new weird visual, like when the new monsters you're encountering. Like when the new things you're encountering are like, oh man, now there's weird mold monsters, now there's a weird traffic light, now this is what's happening. Like when new moment after new moment keeps happening, then I can tolerate the random fights in service of that. Because those random fights are there to add tension and conflict to the process of me proceeding forward with the story. Oh, on that level it's fine. Is there a thing? Is there an enemy in this, or is it just a weird maelstrom of psionic activity? This is cool. Oh, it's a creepy ghost hand. There's a creepy ghost hand up there. What the fuck? That's neat. But when it comes to random encounters, it's like the game seems to be assuming that I must find the combat inherently entertaining and just want more of that in a vacuum. Like not in service of story, not in service of conflict for narrative purposes or for exploration purposes, but just like every time you revisit this open area, the same 3 guards will spawn every single time just to annoy you. And like, since it's a game, I can only assume they're thinking that the idea of fighting those guards again is fun or serves some kind of mechanical purpose. But the mechanical purpose would be to farm. Like, if you keep killing dudes all day, you'll farm drops. And I'm like, that's not fun at all. And fighting the same dudes over and over again, just when I'm trying to get where I'm trying to go, is mostly just annoying. So I mostly just come away from that thinking, I wish they had fundamentally thought about this entire system differently. Boop. Because if anything, the combat's kind of flat, so using it more sparingly would make it less glaringly flat. And also make the interesting fights take up a larger percentage of the overall number of fights by not spamming the uninteresting fights constantly. So it'd be like a win-win-win. Get out of my way. Okay. This hurts me, right? Nope, nope. Good. This is the stuff we're immune to. So we're good there. I'm immune to mold. Oh. That also means that this is not the quest we're here for. Yeah. So I'm here to look for something that's in this quest. And if it was here, it would have required me to do the mold quest first, which they could do. But oftentimes they don't. There's kind of a path of least resistance approach to all this. Like, what comes to mind is somebody mentioned, like, crazy, but my dad, when he played God of War, he never got a single health or rage upgrade in the entire playthrough. He just beat the game on default stats. And it's like, yeah, since I played God of War, I can vouch for the fact that that entire game, if you just do the story, it never gets hard. Ever. Which is weird to think about. I spend enough time away from it, then come back, that when I look at AAA again, I'm always like, this is weird. Like, the directions that the industry has gone in is sometimes very strange, but I can usually figure out why they went for it, even if I don't like the reasons they went for it. But a common manifestation is that in a lot of these types of games, or those types of games at least, the entire main story is actually kind of a low resistance, easy path that never really gets in your way. It just kind of lets you just go through and experience it. So then if you want to challenge, you have to do all the side content. But then you would wonder what the point of the side content's challenge is if it's not in service of gearing you up to be better prepared for the main content. Because if it doesn't help you get through the main content, then you're just seeking power and challenge for the sake of power and challenge, and not in service of the progression through the game. Which is an interesting thing to adapt to. Self-reflection. What is this? Look at the mirror and synchronicity. Research mirror testing. That's just not where I am at all. Is it also a document that I can read? But yeah, as somebody who's used to playing RPGs, it's definitely a difference. Because if you play the kinds of games I do, you're intuitively used to the idea that all of the side stuff is in service of gaining power to help you do the main stuff. It's all that's the framework and the structure. It's like a weird Christmas tree. But in a weird sort of way, like when it comes to something like God of War, for example, like the entire main story and then all of the side content is two separate structures of progression that don't complement each other. And it's really weird to see. Victorian mirror. She was admitted to a mental ward for emotional instability soon after relocating to Illinois with her family in 1914. The item only appears on record again in 2006 when the Bureau investigated a sudden rise in disappearances in Illinois. Agents found the item hanging in the local library. They contained it quickly, though the missing people of the town were never recovered. August 18th, 1915. We certify that the case of Mrs. Bleh has shown her to be a lunatic under the reasons of hysteria, bad company, and imaginary female trouble? Jesus. Her fixation with the family looking glass is noteworthy, though not uncommon matter when considering the female disposition. Mrs. Carver is a fit subject for the lunatic asylum and will remain in its confines until her affliction has passed. Signed, Blah. Oh boy, she has the hysteria. Her womanly natures. That's a horrifying part of actual history right there. We don't understand women. They're weird, difficult. I'm just gonna lock them up until they act different or whatever's. Have I read this yet? It's the Arctic Queen. An Arctic Queen brand electric refrigerator model from 1960s. No cooling functionality. The door decorated with crayon and illustrations by... The illustrations cannot be removed from the item. Whoa! All attempts have failed. The paper cannot be burned or torn. Freaky. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after it survived the collapse of New York City's Grand Central Hotel, where it served as an appliance in an apartment rented by a man, and became the subject of local infamy after surviving the building's collapse, undamaged. Mr. Bleh, who was out of the building at the time of collapse, retained ownership of the item until 1974, when the Bureau purchased the item through a false identity. New altered effect has been observed. Oh. Gaining new powers. There's the traffic light procedure. I figured just, you know, don't move when it's red, although I started to really fuck that up. The object's effect is subdued by exposure to sunlight. Huh. A traffic light with 3 distinct lights arranged vertically on each of its 4 sides, from top to bottom. The lights shine red, yellow, and green. A popular children's game is believed to be integral in the manifestation of this item and its effect. If an entity approaches the item while its red light is activated, they will be instantly relocated a distance from the item. Theories that the item is shifting people in a former timeline or parallel dimension have been explored and dismissed. The item was discovered after a street light at an intersection near the elementary school began shifting people away from itself after sunset. Local panic brought the case to the attention of the Bureau. The item was contained, and a gas leak was blamed for this confusion and the town people's perception. That's terrifying. Yeah. In a vacuum, it's like, oh, it could be kind of fun. Just a weird, silly item that teleports people away. Not inherently dangerous, necessarily. But then you really think about people being in cars, driving towards a thing that's warping them backwards. It's like that could very quickly lead to an accident. That'd be very dangerous. This isn't the medical wing. I'm bad at this. Got all turned around. But yeah, we're not doing that. Because that's in synchronicity. Focus on Langdon's Runaways. Prime Candidate Program.
To find new prime candidates, the Bureau needs a director. Our future. P6 and P7.
Whoa. You can even see it on the map. The fact that that entire room is just sort of twisting to the side. That's bizarre. Yep, I thought I was going the right way, but I was not. Logistics and Panopticon. This looks like the part of the map that would take me where I'm trying to go, so, but there's no staircase here. I was trying to go down before, right? Trying to do commentary and navigate this environment is very hard. So yeah, I made it this far. I made it to the medical wing, right? Wasn't I here already? Okay, so I got this close, so I wasn't completely off my base. But I'm here looking for the hand chair. That's what the object is. Whoops. Whoops. Hello, hand chair.
Easy peasy.
Oh, that's the whole thing. There we go. Alright. We're getting destructive loops now. And I'm responsible for some of them. Where it's like I'm stuck running down generic hallways trying to figure out where to go. And so I don't have much to talk about what's happening right now. So I kind of started podcasting about games in general and stuff like that. But then the act of trying to come up with commentary to say and discuss things is itself distracting from the process of me trying to accurately keep track of my objective and search for it and so on. I don't know. Me and this environment haven't gotten along very well. Where I'm trying to... Oh, Jesus. I'm trying to navigate these places and find the objective, but then I just keep getting turned around. Get out of here. Ah! We done here? We did it. There we go. That's freaky looking. Hey. Get out of here. Oh my god. Can I walk on it? Does it become my new up and down? No, not really, no. Nope. It's nope. I was kind of hoping it would do that trick where like my new up and down becomes the shape of this environment, but no, it's just all crazy warped. This is a trip. Stuff's falling over. Alright, well, how about this? For the sake of camaraderie, of how we're all in this together, and also as an apology for my own mistakes, let's just make this fucking episode keep running until I finish this quest. Because it should have ended like 5 minutes ago, but fuck it. Let's get this done. So you don't want to spend more episodes waiting for this to resolve. So I acknowledge my own mistake there too. But also I'm a bit frustrated. Get out of here. You ain't no boss fight. You're a shittier copy of a previous boss fight. But yeah, there's definitely a few changes that would have made this game more enjoyable to me. One was just not having respawning enemies at all, basically, because that I don't value them in any way. One would be to not have loot. The skill points are fine. Making story progress lets you get little incremental progress in your character. I think it's kind of pointless. You could just balance the entire game well, so that enemies are a specific challenge, and you know how strong you versus the enemies are because of what level of, like, you have static damage values throughout the game, so you can just work with that. I like the new abilities. The new abilities are great. Whenever I get something like this, it's like, haha, 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 haha. That's all cool shit. Having more and more interesting ways for those abilities to interact with the environment
Is this
would
what
be great.
Dylan wanted me to see? It doesn't matter. We need to find that projector.
Oh, I'm accidentally doing the main story, aren't I? Whoops. They have all these notes about me. They've been following me. I'm P7. That is what's going on here, isn't it? They were out to get me. Yeah, I'm in the process of trying to find this thing for the runaway items, but I might accidentally progress the main story while I'm at it. I was petting a doggy.
All the times I felt paranoid, I was right. The Bureau could have given me the answers, but they just stood by and watched me.
Yep. They've been actively keeping it from us. And hey, they got me shoplifting. She was telling the truth. She did used to be a janitor. There's a picture of her being a janitor. Wow, they watched someone mug me and just let it happen. This organization's the worst. Jesse Faden. Why didn't open the document correctly? Speaking of the 500 things that would have made me happier if they just designed it slightly differently, just open the document directly when I pick it up. Why do I have to find it? Fuck. How did I miss it? Jesse Faden. There it is. If you accidentally highlight it, then it fucking gets marked as red. Terrible. It's a terrible interface. Alright.
We used to play there all the time. Me and Dylan. And other kids as well. We loved it. This time, I remember, was different. We found a way in. Deeper into it, like it had shifted. We went inside, and that's where we found the slide projector.
A dump is a place for lost things. Things that have been thrown away. Did you ever feel that way when you were growing up, Jesse?
What? No. Yes, but that has nothing to do with...
Was there a slide projector at your home when you were small?
No.
Those were before your time, I suppose. But your family did look at photos together, maybe. In one form or the other?
Maybe.
When was this? Can you remember? At parties? Barbecues? How did it make you feel? Did your parents ever show pictures that embarrassed you? Was alcohol ever involved at these parties? Did your parents drink? Did that make you uncomfortable?
No, that's just stupid. Come on. That has nothing to do with this. Nothing.
The slide projector, let me ask you this. As a child, did you ever fantasize about worlds inside pictures? Inside a painting? You know, stepping into a painting, into a hidden world, escaping and finding adventure there, away from your parents.
I don't think so. I don't remember. Maybe. I don't know.
I might be imagining it, but that psychiatrist almost sounded like the lady from the safe place. Did you imagine escaping into paintings? So is that what the slide projector did to them? I'm totally about to accidentally do the next chunk of the story when I'm trying to do something else, aren't I? Yes! Finally got a good health upgrade. 32%. That's a rank 4? Huh. That'd be a little higher than that, but okay. Narrow it down a little bit. Alright. That'll help with hardiness a little bit. Well, if I accidentally do the main story, then I guess that'll just be the episode instead. Try to do
I studied what happened in Ordinary here. That's the place to start looking.
I thought I had a plan for the nice thing I was gonna do, but it's harder than that. But that's the way forward, yeah. I just opened the shortcut back there. Here we go. Work chat, dead dog. Ah, why? There's a... So, yeah, they just did a bad job with this interface design. There's just something buggy and iffy and just poorly play tested about this whole thing. I see it here. So here's the dead dog. But it somehow got here. But my mouse was over here. But that was the height my mouse was at. Is it skipped to the one that matches my mouse's height, which is a thing I can't control because the mouse doesn't even show up in this game until I open the screen. So there's like a very, 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 very high percentage failure rate of it showing the document that I want to show by holding G, which is what it's asking me to do, is to hold the button in order to open the thing. But then it just fails to do so. And part of this seems to be much akin to the upgrade screen, where with no feedback it just spends a bunch of resources every time you click, and then there's no like warning and no like, oh, are you sure you want to throw all your life savings away? Like those kinds of messages. And it seems to all be based on the fact that this was designed for console. And so on a joystick, I would just be highlighting this and I have to go like up, 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 if I wanted to get around. But because it's a mouse, it's like, I'm fancy free and I'm crazy and they don't know how to design an interface for me, which is weird because we're all on computers where interfaces started being designed for me. But then we pivoted to console, and even though they're made on computers, they forgot how to make stuff for computers, I guess. It's weird. They just designed it for the interface for console and then just kind of slapped it onto the PC port and just called it a day, I guess. Work chat. Dead dog. I see your creepy teeth delivery and raise you a dead dog. Yeah, like a straight up deceased dog. Had a collar on it and everything. It'd been rotting in that box since they packed it up. Go ahead and imagine how that smells. So don't go whining to me. I wish I got to watch a parade of human teeth. Ugh. They're trading documents about the horrible things that they get in the mail or that they have to like sort through as it arrives. Yeah. The guy that got the teeth is definitely not as bad off. A dead dog. What are we walking in on in here? I did not trust you, elevator. I definitely thought some shit was about to come down. What am I like? What is that? I don't know.
Dylan and I were both prime candidates. Experiments.
They were watching you. They let bad things happen to you. That's what I picked up a moment ago. I think it's a speaker? Maybe? Yeah, that's a speaker. Oh, hi everyone. Pew pew. You done? You done. I think we're gonna find the slide projector first. That wasn't my intention, but I think it's where we've ended up. I was feeling things, suspicions. The main thing that came to mind was that I might try to get to the object in this direction and then not be able to find it because that chunk of the map is locked off until I do more story progress. But I wasn't necessarily thinking about how I was going to also do story progress in the process of doing that.
It started there and it's never gone away.
Transit corridor south. This building is so bizarre. I love that about it. I love this building from like a visual design perspective. New York City subway. It probably doesn't actually connect to it, at least not directly and physically. It might connect to it like metaphysically somehow. But yeah, you can see on the map there's a train going straight through the middle of this area. There's train tracks going vertically through the map. It's baffling and insane and amazing and ridiculous. Building's great. Shield strength, seize duration, levitation duration, ground slam. One more to the final health upgrade. Yeah, we should save up that much. Just one more point. My character dies so quickly that I should do everything I can to stop that from happening. This area is called the turntable. Okay, so yeah. This episode's gonna end when I do this instead. This quest is gonna take a little longer than I thought. So we are currently doing the face of my enemy. Hi. Headshot, 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 headshot. Alright, mixed results there. I tried. Woo. Does that stun you? You look stunned. Ah, I think throwing something at it did stun it, or reduce its overall mass and its ability to hurt me or something. Gotcha.
There's gotta be a way to rotate these tracks.
Step
Maybe
one,
there's a
not going
control
down
panel
there.
nearby.
There's a dangerous bad boy down there. Well, that says bridge operator, so that's probably everything we need. That's how security works. Oh. This leads to the same place, apparently.
There's gotta be a way to rotate these tracks. Maybe there's a control
Maybe
panel
it's the giant button. Yeah.
nearby.
Work chat. Teeth. Oh, there's the other half. Guess who just had to inspect an inbound delivery of like 100 teensy tiny little boxes? Me. That's who. And you know what was inside each one? A single human tooth. Fucking gross.
Won't rotate.
It's not.
Something's blocking it.
Oh, it's not moving? Ah. It's not great news, the whole teeth thing. Although it's like worse is the fact that it's fucking... it's 100 separate boxes. That's pretty bad. Get out of the way. There y'all go. You got this. You got this. The ordinary dump site. It's starting to feel a little bit less crazy that we magically became the leader of this place when we walked in. When, like, there's entire parts of the building that refer to our home. There's definitely an aspect of you just gotta roll with it. That comes with a lot of this bizarre setting. Like, at some point, I was like, how is she just okay with this? How is she just accepting all these things that are happening? But at some point, it just gets so fucking absurd that you just kind of have to. Like, alright, yeah, now we're just gonna walk through my childhood in the middle of this building in New York. Because that's a thing that happens. Oh! Is it meat flaps? It's meat flaps. Ow. Stop that. Nah, I got stuck. I honestly couldn't really see anything. It's a very dark room. I think I got stuck in a corner. Big ouchies. I haven't seen that enemy for a bit. Where am I? All the way back here. But you have changed. So, it saved that. We're not even going towards where I wanted to go for the other objective. That's fine. We'll figure that out at some later date. It's a mistake to have plans about where you think you want to go in this building. Because this building's nuts. Where are you? Oh, there's a wall there's a wall behind me. That's why I couldn't figure out what to do. They generated a secret wall behind me. Is that not you? Where is it? All right, I guess it didn't predict me going there. There it is. There we go. I found the part of the room where the fight just shuts down. Weird. Like the AI wasn't designed to deal with that problem. If I sneak around there, I'll get a pickup. Neat. Neat. Look at me. Wow. How often is that doable? Because that is some crazy shit. That takes me back to playing Red Faction with my brother as a kid. Where we'd open up a multiplayer lobby with just us and like no enemies, and we would just slowly tunnel our way through the environment. I don't remember anything else about Red Faction as a kid. This is the original one, not Guerrilla or Annihilation. Like Red Faction like 1 or 2 on like probably like the PS2 or the Xbox or something. You could tunnel through the environment back then. It was some rad shit. Just spawn rockets all over the environment and just keep shooting rockets into the walls until you can tunnel around like you're playing Worms. But in a 3D game, which is why it was so novel and crazy. I kind of want to turn these random quests that keep popping up off. Because they're pointless. Transit corridor north. They've got a bomber in here. Wings taken off. To pack it, I guess. Actually, no. It looks pretty banged up. That's probably the quality. That's probably the condition they found it in. Ah, I need one of those boxes. In a few different places. What do you do? Besides use up my box. Well, that was a waste. Yeah. I really should have put that where my objective was. Oh, there's a few of them all around. Well, I'm not gonna finish what I started, right? Is this gonna open up this whole gate? No? all of those combined open the elevator? Can I haul... Can I send you back? Mr. Plane? Can I send you to the turntable? Mr. Plane! How many licks does it take to get to the center of the FBC? Wasn't me. Hi. I believe we reached an agreement here. Nice. I'm not even moving. I'm standing completely still. Dynamic combat. He's dead. Yeah. I know I have a tendency to compare every game with other games, but that's because art doesn't exist in a vacuum. And this is all this whole industry is iterative and just kind of designed to be compared. But it annoys some people. But even the people that are annoyed by it should be used to it by now. Or should have done the same thing and probably moved on if it annoys them that much. But yeah, I've played Overwatch a lot. And I've played Doom. And so like I don't know. And I've played Halo. So between Halo, Overwatch, and Doom, I'm like, I've seen some pretty decent shooter systems. And so I think that's one of the many reasons I'm really unimpressed by Sony's... This isn't Sony specifically in this game's case, but like Sony leans so heavily on this idea of like cinematic third-person shooters, and this game is kind of a response to that popularity, because this heavily leans on the same tropes, and it's like, but these systems aren't very interesting as a shooter, and so I kind of just get through them, because usually the other stuff they want to offer, like the visuals and the design of the environment and the story and the characters, is usually worth using the shooting as a vehicle, but the shooting that's being used as a vehicle is it's a pretty old car. Altered examination request, airplane wreckage. The airline in question has been brought in from a private airfield located in the town of Cincinnati. It is suspected to be connected to the AWE. See case file for details. And is being evaluated for altered status. The plane is currently being stored in the transit corridor in the containment sector, brought there through the New York subway tunnel. Special access BIP. For more information on tunnel BIP and links to urban legends centered on ghost stations, abandoned tracks, and BIP, see file BIP. The plane's black box is currently being evaluated for BIP, and initial readings have been taken by a research team, though no altered status has yet been detected. But if you look at my Overwatch and Doom and Halo examples, you can see why I might think that like any system where I can get away with just standing completely still and shooting a bunch of dudes, not the best shooter system. There's just really dynamic, interesting, and challenging, but also fun and engaging even when they're not challenging systems out there. Hi. You forget I was here? Alright. He didn't hear the ruckus earlier. Ordinary AWE Stage 1A. Dump witness testimonials. The first slide was a room with dirty wallpaper and dolls on a shelf. There were lots of dolls. DF. Interview 2002. The house was empty. No one lived there. We played in there a lot. It was our special secret playhouse. JF. Therapy session 2010. I went to school with Neil. Some kids called him Nosebleed Neil. Note. Likely Neil Hosenberg. Missing. It was mean. He had asthma. Tom and his gang, Freddy, Hugo, bullied him. We brought Neil to the dump to play. Unconfirmed existence of additional slide designation house. Called him Nosebleed Neil. It was mean. He had asthma. Kids are awful. They kind of can't help it, but that doesn't change the fact that they're awful. The part of their brain that processes empathy systems doesn't develop until you're practically 20. So, yeah. They're little psychopaths.
You're listening to America Overnight, celebrating 29 years, shining a light in the shadows. Thanks for staying with us. Here's our first caller.
Hi. What I'm about to tell you, if they found out, I don't know what would happen.
If who found out, brother?
The men in the suits. They told me it was an industrial accident, but this is something else. Something nobody talks about. Ordinary.
This certainly doesn't sound very ordinary, caller.
No, not ordinary. Ordinary. It's a town. And it wasn't an industrial accident. I mean, that's what they say. But that's bullshit.
Whoa, please watch the language, caller. It may be 2 a.m., but we're still a family show.
I'm sorry. It's just, my brother lived there. They said the town was destroyed, but it wasn't. I went there. The people are gone, but the town's there. It's still there.
So the population of an entire town disappears, yet the town remains. Tell me, was the phrase, "there is no salvation," written anywhere?
I'm not sure.
The same thing happened in Brazil in 23, a village called Rio Verde. More than 600 people just up and left. The government said they were fleeing guerrilla forces, but we know the truth. A mass abduction, as predicted by my regular guest, Dr. Quincy Reagan.
Abduction? You mean aliens? That's bullshit! I know they're lying!
Now, I warned you about the language, caller. I'm afraid we're gonna have to cut you off. And good timing, too. It's time for a short break. Hang in there. America Overnight will be right back.
Sort of distracting spooky noises happening the whole time. Boop. There is no salvation. Neat. That's some cool physics going on there. On one hand, it feels a little weird that they lean so heavily on one of the examples that had like an explanation already kind of built into it. But on the other hand, they could have gone with the easier example, Roanoke, which if anyone has an explanation for, I'm not as aware of it at least, but it's one of those mysterious ghost stories people like to lean on, is Roanoke. It's one of those fun examples at least. Alright, well I think we're going to call it here. Enjoy the long episode, full of ranting and whatnot. Didn't accomplish either of the things I thought it would, but that's what happens when you're playing a game blind. You can't just sit here and accurately predict what you can accomplish, even in a bonus episode. Because we just keep stumbling into new tasks. Alright, see you next time.